Is this thing on? Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Summits Podcast. Thank all of you for joining us from wherever you get your podcast, or if you're joining us on the Harris Foundation YouTube channel, thank you for doing so. If you're on there, you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do that. Won't cost you a single penny. While you're also doing that, hit the little notification bell icon so you can be alerted when new episodes like this one drop. We would greatly appreciate it. All right, special guest, first A-lister ever, Miss Courtney Roberts. Welcome to the Summits Podcast.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Courtney, how we typically start things off, why don't you give us a little background introduction on yourself?
Sure. So I'm Courtney Roberts. I am currently the president and CEO of Riley Children's Foundation. I started in that role in September of this year. But I'm a native Hoosier, born and raised in Indiana. I grew up in Rensselaer and still have a lot of family there, a brother there, aunts and uncles. My grandparents were from there, parents from there, so just really strong roots in Rensselaer and in Indiana.
Which high school did you go to?
Rensselaer High School.
Rensselaer High School. Okay.
Rensselaer Central High School. And then came to Butler and did my undergrad at Butler, and then just didn't necessarily intend to stay in Indianapolis, but loved it. And jobs lead to other jobs, which lead to other jobs and great opportunities. And so I've been here since I graduated Butler. I have an undergrad from Butler, and then IU McKinney Law School, and then I'm currently getting my doctorate in philanthropic leadership also from the IU School of Philanthropy. I spent the early part of my career in politics, so spent a little bit of time in Bart Peterson's administration when he was the mayor of the city of Indianapolis. Also worked for Evan Bayh when he was a United States senator, and then spent about 15 years at Eli Lilly and Company. Part of that time was in government affairs and public policy, and then about 8 years of that time was in the Lilly Foundation, leading the company's product donation work and global health equity work. And then spent about 4 years as president of BeatCancer Foundation. So have had a really interesting career path and have been really fortunate to work with some of the really crown jewel organizations of the state of Indiana.
Yeah. Politics to corporate to philanthropy. Some would say that crosses all spectrums, but I feel like there's probably a tie there. What would you say is that tie that binds?
Yeah, there is for sure a tie for me. And I do think a lot of people might look at my career path and say, like, this doesn't make sense. I don't get it. But for me, the work has actually always been the same. It's always been about what kind of impact can I have? How can I work so that people have access? How can I work toward equity for people in the state of Indiana? And it's just the job that I've done is a different mechanism to do that. So that was kind of always the through line through politics, through my work in the corporate sector, to my work at Ivy Tech, and now to my work with Riley Children's Foundation.
Yeah. I distinctly remember you and I had a meeting, this goes back,
years.
Several years ago. I can't remember things that happened 2 weeks ago, but I can remember stuff like this. You were working at Lilly at the time, and I think you made inferences like, not then that you're ready to leave, but you were looking at what does the future hold, and you were thinking already on the philanthropic side. Did you think at some point you would be leading a foundation?
Maybe when you and I had that conversation, I had an inkling in my mind that that's what I would want to do. But certainly when I was younger and even in college, that was not even anything that I ever explored, anything that I ever even thought was possible. When I really got a taste of philanthropy was when I was at Lilly, and I had moved over to the philanthropic side of the company, but was leading their corporate responsibility work. And I had an opportunity presented to me, and someone said, we need help running our product donation work. So in response to natural disasters or we would send diabetes medications to Kenya and in different countries. And so I didn't know anything about that, but said, absolutely, I'll sign me up. Yes. Yep. So I took the opportunity and just learned so much about how to do philanthropy right and how to do it well, so that you're kind of protecting the organization that you're leading efforts for, and also protecting the recipients of who you're donating to. And so just learned a ton and just really just kept going.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
When you decided to make the leap from Lilly to Ivy Tech, what triggered that?
It's interesting. So I was, not to get reflective, but was 45 at the time, kind of at the tail end of COVID, and had been at Lilly at that point for 15 years and had had a great career. I mean, I was able to, again, I said I was born and raised in Indiana, I literally with a cornfield in my backyard, and through my work at Lilly, traveled all around the world. I mean, these are opportunities I would have never gotten. Got to travel to Kenya, South Africa, did a lot of work in Mexico. Would have never been afforded these opportunities to actually also learn how to do philanthropy really well. So was incredibly lucky. And at that time, was presented with an opportunity within the company for a different role, and it would have been, for all intents and purposes, a promotion and higher stock options, higher bonus. And I thought about it, and I remember taking a walk around the block, and I said to my husband, I said, that's not it. And I said, I don't know what is, but it's not that. And so, I told people internally that's not what I was looking to do. And that same week, a friend of mine said, I've got a recruiter I'd love for you to talk to, not about any particular job, but I'd love for you to meet her, talk to her. And met with her, and she said, I'm looking for the next president of Ivy Tech Foundation. Is this something you'd like to learn more about? And I said, sure, why not? And the more I learned about it and thought about kind of what's important to me, what's always been important to me, advocating for access and equity, I thought maybe this makes sense. And so I just decided to go for it. And in the interview process, I just remember thinking, I don't have anything to lose. I'm 45. I don't need to try to pretend to be somebody else at this point.
Right.
And it arguably was probably one of the biggest career decisions I've made, because then it also got me to where I am now as the leader of Riley Children's Foundation. I went from the healthcare sector and the grant making side to the other side of the philanthropic equation, leading a fundraising organization in higher ed, and learned so much and grew so much, and would not be the head of Riley Children's Foundation without that opportunity at Ivy Tech, and just saying yes and thinking differently about what my career could be.
Well, it goes back to making yourself vulnerable, right?
Yeah.
But you're 27, which I thought you were, or 45. It never ends to put yourself in vulnerable positions, and how much you learn from that. In the 4-ish or so years that you were with Ivy Tech, you guys had a major capital campaign.
Yes.
I remember talking to Jim Gothard a little bit about that. Yeah. Typical Indiana, we're like a couple of people removed from one another. And I remember him telling me about kind of the scope and depth and breadth of the project and all that, and I think it was pretty darn successful.
Yes, at Ivy Tech, the goal, it was the organization's first ever comprehensive campaign where all 19 campuses raised money toward one goal. Yeah. But the funds stayed locally within each community. And the goal was to raise $285 million, and they raised $340 million.
That's all?
Wow.
That's all.
That's it.
Which was just incredible, but also just a huge demonstration that when you all work together toward one goal,
right,
you can do so much more than if you all work separately.
Yep, more we, less me.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're transitioning. Riley's been, we're fairly familiar with Riley, and I think a lot of people are in the state of Indiana, but has been around for a long time. What led to that?
Yeah, so interestingly, I said I was born and raised in Indiana. I come from a Riley family.
Okay.
My middle brother in 1978 in Rensselaer, Indiana, was born with a hole in his heart. And he was born in February. And when he was born, everyone thought he was fine and healthy, and he was sent home and started getting sick after about 2 months, and went to the local hospital, the Jasper County Hospital in Rensselaer, and it was really determined early on that he was suffering from something that they couldn't treat there. Okay. And so was immediately sent to Riley. He had his first surgery, I believe, in April, his second surgery in June, and then continued follow-up really for the rest of our lives. And I think back about it now, and so my parents were really young at the time. I mean, they would have been probably 24, 25, 23-ish. And they also had me, who was a year and a half old, and just really scared and really young. And I have some small memories of that time, but also just remember Riley for the whole next 18 years when my brother was growing up. And so when this opportunity became available, again, I just thought, is this another way that I can continue to have the impact that I've always wanted to have, that I can advocate for access and equity for people across the state? And it's kind of fun because it feels like things have come full circle. And, I'm just really, really happy to be here.
That's awesome. You've only been on the job for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So we're not going to grill you on any stats or anything.
No speeds and feeds today.
Right. Yeah. But if you could, what would you say, based on what you know now, what are your primary goals outside of the obvious, but what are the primary goals that you're looking at right now? What's that vision, if you will? And then what is an aspect or a couple of aspects of Riley that really intrigue you, and or maybe things that the average Hoosier doesn't know?
So the Riley Children's Foundation is in the middle of the public phase of a campaign right now to raise $300 million by the fiscal year 27. So we are well on track to meet and exceed that goal. So those are the big things that we've got going on right now, and really what's front and center. And as part of that campaign, we are raising dollars to ensure that every child across the state has access to Riley, that we are providing services and supports not just for the children, but also for parents and siblings and the entire family, to also advocate and build awareness around mental health in our youth, which is really, really prevalent right now. If any of you have kids, you know that. To also continue to advance pediatric research, and then also recruit and retain top talent. And so we can keep the best and brightest here in Indianapolis and at Riley. So all of our kids around the state have access to the best and brightest people.
Yeah, the research piece is certainly, we have a good relationship with Riley, and we meaning the Heroes Foundation, through our Team Joy program, going to do pizza parties and Lego gives, but also funding for pediatric cancer research. As you're probably well aware, both from your Lilly days as well as now with Riley, pediatric research is pretty well underfunded.
What you've just stepped into this role. What are you the most excited to tackle and through the end of this year? Like, what is the thing that you're
outside of raising 300?
Yeah, outside of that. Yeah, you've got some time on it, right? But
the thing I'm most excited about is, the title of our current campaign is Every Child Deserves Riley, and I really believe that. And I think regardless of ability to pay, regardless of where you live, whether you're urban or rural, nobody wants Riley, but everybody wants to be able to access it if they need it. People don't want to have to go to Riley, but if you have a sick kid, you want your kid to be able to go to Riley, whether you can afford it or no matter where you live, whether you're in the country or... And so to me, that's the most important thing about what we do. It's the most important thing about this campaign, and it's what I'm most excited about, is that we want to ensure at Riley Children's Foundation that we are able, through philanthropic support, to ensure that every kid in the state of Indiana and beyond has access to the world-class care at Riley.
Yeah.
All right, Courtney, you know the basis of this podcast is talking about cancer stories. So, Courtney, what is your cancer story?
So, and Vince, I think this is maybe when you and I met, or shortly after I went through this, that you and I met. In January of 2013, my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. He had just turned 58 and now it's crazy. The older I get and the older my husband gets, these ages all feel, even a little more real than they did then. But was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer and got a lot of care at IU Simon, and then also received chemo treatments at home in Rensselaer where he lived, and he lived just almost a full 2 years. So he died on New Year's Eve, actually, of 2014, just a couple weeks after his 60th birthday. So we had, and he had, a very difficult 2 years. But, if you're kind of open to it, and, life is this mix of bad things and beautiful things all happening at one time. And if you're open to kind of seeing the beautiful among the bad, you can see that. At the time, I was spending a lot of time at IU Simon with him because he had a lot of complications, a surgery that was very complicated, and then spent a lot of time down here. I also was traveling to Kenya for work for Lily, and so was deeply engaged in some of the breast cancer work that we were doing in Kenya in partnership with AMPATH. And I remember seeing there, and I've got this picture that my dad sent me one day when he was getting chemo, and it's the cutest picture of him. He's got his hands behind his head, and he's got a blanket that his nurse had just warmed up and put on him. So he's got a blanket pulled up under his chin, and he's got a little grin on his face. And, he's just I've got this, everyone's taking care of me. I'm good. And so I kept that picture at my desk, and I was in Kenya, and where they were treating their patients. And this was, again, these are the patients who are lucky enough to be able to receive treatment.
Yeah.
But they are outside, and they were getting chemotherapy under a tent outside, sitting in plastic chairs and, hooked up to IVs, and they're all just sitting right next to each other. And it was again, these are the people who were lucky enough to receive treatment. And it was just for me, and I've got that picture as well. And I still have the pictures of both my dad and the women getting treatment, because it was just a stark contrast that, again, no matter where you live, you should have access to the best care that is available to you. And that was I just let that be a reminder to me the whole time that my dad was sick, is that, we're not the only people that have it tough. And he had wonderful care. He had world-class care. And, again, not the outcome that we wanted, but just we learned a lot during that time. And so that's my cancer story.
Yeah. I think it's also an incredible reminder of how non-discriminatory this disease is. It affects all of us.
Yeah.
And so whether your dad had world-class care or you had, call it field care in Africa, the end results still may not be what we desire, and in which case it just continues to fuel the fire of progressing. I know, I get the question a lot this year. Daniel's certainly heard it many times. As we celebrate our 25th year, people keep saying, "Well, 25 years, how are you? Why do you keep doing this?" That's a long time to be doing a second non-paid job that you put who knows how many hours I still put into this. And I said, it's real simple, because sadly the stories don't end.
Right.
And every time I hear a new one, it ticks me off, to put it lightly. And so, our work's not done.
No,
and it'll
not
never be done. And so now, talking about age, it's, we were 25 when we started. We're not 25 so much anymore. but now it's looking at, okay, it'll still be around when I'm gone.
Yeah.
Whenever that is. How do we set this thing up to keep going? Because it will need to keep going long past us.
Well, I think I knew it had been 25 years, but I didn't really know. I mean, 25 years, that's incredible. And just think of the work that you've done and the impact that you've had in that amount of time is just incredible.
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sadly, I'm a never satisfied person. So
I can relate.
You could put up all the things that we've accomplished, like, all right, well, we're not there yet.
What else could we do?
That's great, but we missed this. We need to do this.
Yep.
Anyway, we get the quick Cindy eye roll on that one.
Yep.
All right, well, thank you for sharing your story.
Yeah, thank you.
We appreciate that. You and Ed have been great supporters of the Heroes Foundation. You guys have been at many a gala, and we hope to see you guys back soon. But now we're going to flip the script a little bit.
Oh, gosh.
You were excited to be on this podcast. You said, I think I would love hosting a podcast.
Yep.
So, Court, here is your chance. Feel free to ask us any questions you would like.
All right.
Within reason, of course.
All right.
Now I'm nervous.
Yeah.
I don't have any hard-hitting journalist questions yet, so
Okay.
I'll ask a question. Maybe it'll buy me time to.
We're just sitting at
think.
20 Tap having a beer.
Okay. Well, with anyone, I want to know, what are you reading? What are you listening to? What are you watching?
Go ahead.
Okay. Reading. I just finished a book called Co-Intelligence by Ethan Mollick about AI and how to use it in a different way or in a more useful way.
That is
Is it good?
That is so
It's
Purdue.
good. Yeah, it's short, so it's a good one.
Pictures?
No pictures, surprisingly. Yeah, this wasn't drawn in crayon.
I would read it then.
Yeah. So that's why I'm currently not reading anything. I think the next book I'll read is All In, which is by Mike Michalowicz, which is another author that I'm a big fan of. And then watching, I just finished, I guess I'm current on Only Murders in the Building on
It's
Hulu.
good.
It's a good
Yeah.
one. Yeah. It's frustrating in the current age of just binge everything as soon as it comes out, that it releases every week. But then I just wait a couple weeks and then I'll watch a couple and then I'll.
How many
catch back
seasons
up.
is that? Because I think we may only be in season 3 of that.
Okay. Season 4 just started a couple weeks ago. And then what am I listening to? Music or podcast?
Well, either.
Okay.
I only listen to podcasts. Everyone in my family, I stopped listening to music in the early 2000s. So they always know they can't talk music with me. So,
Got
but
it.
I do want to know whatever you're listening to.
Okay. So I'll go the podcast route. Right now, the handful of podcasts I listen to, the one that I listen to the most consistently is called Upgrade. Tech podcasts, mostly on reporting about Apple and stuff. And then the F1 podcast.
Oh, that sounds good.
It's not F1, it's P1 podcast, what it's called. So it's about F1. And then I'll just sprinkle in some other ones. I have a whole list of ones that I'll listen to when I run out of my normal ones that release weekly and I need to fill some time in. So those are what my typical ones are on any given week or day. I just got caught up this morning, so now my priority queue of podcasts is empty at the moment. Darknet Diaries is another one that I listen to.
What's that?
It talks about in the IT technology space, talking about both malicious hacking, positive hacking, just kind of in the space of stories that you might not normally hear about that have affected the internet and the IT technology world. So if you haven't figured out yet, I'm a nerd, and so a lot of what I listen to is in that space. So
Fascinating.
Yep.
Vince, what about you?
I am not reading that. Yet. No, I think that's fairly obvious. So I just finished a book called Traction. It's about the EOS process. So slightly
Good one.
nerdy
Yeah.
in a way.
You guys are both
from a
nerdy.
business standpoint.
Business nerd.
Our management team at Accessa had to read this book, and then we had our strategic planning retreat for 2026. It was all based on the EOS process, which I will say, and I give credit to my brother, it was very beneficial. It was one of the best weeks we've had as a management team. It was great.
Yep.
It worked out really well. So thanks, Joe. Watching, I'm a sports geek, I guess. Right now it's football season.
Yeah.
So whether it's college or pro, I probably prefer college a little bit better, but college or pro sports, I'm watching that. Thankfully, IU has a football team again this year, so
Wasn't a
I'm
fluke.
enthralled with that. If you're looking for any series or streaming series that I watch, they are in a hiatus. I get annoyed because I will binge watch and then it's done in a week or two.
Yeah,
and
then
it's
you have to wait like 2 years.
Right. But a couple, and I actually just looked these up the other day because I was like, I heard new seasons were announced. I was curious when they'll actually come back out. So The Diplomat is one.
Yep.
And they said they would have actually 8 episodes this series, whereas last season was 6.
Okay.
And even to me, 8's not enough.
No.
Yeah.
But they announced they'll do 8. That comes out middle of October. And then the Night Agent. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah.
Or not.
Oh,
It's a
but
good one.
that.
Yeah.
So I watched it, but it was only 1 season, and that was like 2
So
years
far.
ago.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
And they've agreed to do at least through season 3, and they're filming. They've completed filming season 2. They've started filming season 3, but they did not announce when season 2 will be unleashed. So.
Another one I'll throw out there that just came back is Slow Horses, which is on the Apple.
Slow
TV
Horses
stream
is
horse.
really good.
Yeah, if you like The Night Agent, you'll probably like Slow Horses.
Okay.
Gary Oldman and a couple other people in it. It's really solid.
And it has maybe 6 or
3 or 4. I think they
Yeah,
just started their
they're-
5th season.
Oh, seasons wise. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
you
So-
can
That'll
binge
last
it.
a month.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
It's
2
really
weekends.
good, and they're
Okay.
really Gary Oldman's really good.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It's really good. There's some great little quips in there that are fantastic.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
remind me about that one.
Going back to one of your favorite words, it's used frequently.
Oh, fantastic.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
I will like it. And then listening, I mean, obviously podcasts. So when I'm not listening to the Summits podcast or the Industrious podcast for the shameless plugs, we talked about this earlier. I listen to Smartlist quite a bit just because they do like literally, I think it's weekly episodes. And I mean, typically what I'll do is I'll find myself boarding an airplane, pulling it up and saying, oh gosh, there's 20 new episodes I haven't listened to.
I know.
Quickly download like 3 or 4 of them and then just listen to them on the flight.
Yep.
I love it. I travel a lot for work, and so those are the guys, Smartlist and Armchair Expert. I listen to those just, I mean, back to back.
Armchair Expert, remind me about that one.
That's with Dax Shepard.
Dax Shepard.
Jack Shepard. Okay.
Yep.
Armchair
Yeah.
Expert. All
And
right.
they're all of those guys on both of those shows are really good interviewers. They do a really
Yeah.
good job of just getting a lot out of the person, but it's really conversational.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool. All right. Any other questions?
That's all I've got right now.
Okay. Well, that's great.
Can I come back?
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Always
Anytime.
welcome.
Yep.
Well, speaking of which, we appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to come in. Congrats on the new gig.
Thank you.
We wish you much luck on the, not just the campaign, but really just leading that organization. It's a very important organization here in Indiana. We're glad that you are leading it, and we wish you much success.
Thank you. It's a fantastic organization, and I'm happy to be there.
Awesome. And thank all of you guys for catching this episode of the Summits Podcast. We appreciate you tuning in or watching on the Heroes Foundation YouTube channel. Thank you for doing so. Don't forget, click subscribe, click the notification bell icon. We greatly appreciate it. Also, throw in the comments. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to? We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, folks, don't forget, all of this is in an effort to beat cancer.